As he nervously walks up to the jar, he carefully reaches into it. He then pulls out a piece of paper and hands it to one of the guards. You see, in Thailand, every man aged 21 must take part in a military draft lottery. If they pull a red card, they're required to serve for up to 2 years. But if it's black, they're immediately exempt. So now all he can do is wait to find out which card he pulled.
Ladies and gentlemen, the year, I believe, was 2006. And the good doc gets this very, very mysterious letter in the mail, courtesy of the US government, that said, hey, big dog, you just turned 18. So you have now been signed up for the draft. Now, shocked and appalled as the good doc was, I had no idea what was about to happen. I'm thinking, oh shit, they about to say, doc, you gonna go into the military and you're gonna shoot them up, bang, bang, you're gonna be frontlining and all that stuff, you know, always thinking the worst, right? But what I realized, mom's had a conversation with me. She was like, son, basically your name is just entered, and just in case shit pop off and they need you because they ain't got enough people in the armed forces, they might call you or select you and say, hey, big dog, need you to come over here to this foreign country wherever we at and help us out a little bit, right? So first and foremost, big salute to all of my people who volunteered as tribute, AKA all of my service members, current veterans, all that good shit, people who signed up for this shit willingly and went overseas and did what they had to do. Big salute to y'all. But the good doc wasn't really in that mindset at the time, right? Shout out to my big brother, my OG, triple OG, my father, people who served, all people who watch this channel, my vets, love y'all. But that wasn't the good doc's vibe, okay? So during this process, right, you're thinking, okay, they might pick me, they might not. And there's a certain time limit. I think I'm outside of the age range at this moment. I'm not sure what it is. I know it's 18 to a certain number that they might select you. Somewhere in the 30s, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, comment section below. I think I'm outside of the age range. But at the end of the day, if shit do pop off, guess what? They might say, nah, we're going to renege on that. And I'm going to need you to, you know, do your due diligence and do your services. But I have to say that after watching this particular video, I do have a newfound respect for the way that the US goes about the selection process for the draft. Now, as far as history has shown, it's been a long time since there's been a draft, right? But I ain't gonna lie, the way things are happening in other foreign countries, man, sound like some straight up Hunger Games shit, man. And if anybody don't know what the Hunger Games is, it's just they select two people from a certain place and they gotta, you know, fight to the death, right? Zones or sections are selected, whatever. Don't need to go into it, just Google it, right? But it sounded like some Hunger Games shit. I had a homeboy who was Persian, right? My man, mandatory. I think also in Korea, it's mandatory that you do 2 years, right? You turn a certain age, you gonna give them 2 years, right? Now, I'm not a big K-pop person, but I know that there's this group of guys that girls tend to like called BTS, and I think a couple of their members, mandatory, 2 years in the military, right? Like I said, my boy, he did 2 years, and this process that we're seeing in this video was rather interesting because, hey, you got a 50-50 chance of having to do 2 years, or 50-50 chance of doing 2 years, or, you know, being able to get away. I guess if you choose the red card, you going in for sure. Black card, you can skate without having to go, right? And although there was an entertaining element to this particular video, you have to understand that the draft process in other countries, at least from my perspective, helps me to appreciate the fact that they really didn't just say, hey, if you in the state show, you're going to give me 2 years of your life and you're going to do what you need to do and you're going to do this. And this is what we're telling you. Not like it is in other countries. Now, let's talk about something that I've really had on my mind, and I just want to get it off. I want to do a brain dump because this is just something that I have to get off my chest. You see, I would be very intrigued if Generation Z, the zesty class, what we're gonna call it, not necessarily referred to Gen Z in general as the zesty class, but people from Gen Z that are a little bit on the zesty side, how would that military actually look? You see, I'm a real one. And I think this thing all the way through. And only after I watched this video, I asked myself, yo, what if they really did draft a lot of guys that kind of remind me of this particular gentleman here. I'm honestly thinking, and you think I'm crazy, but I'm thinking they would actually make great soldiers. You think I'm dumb. If you think I'm dumb, put it in the comment section below. But let me know. I think they would make great soldiers. Why? Because A, they ain't putting up with no bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you know anything about this current generation, but they talk back. They don't give a fuck. They gonna say what's on their mind. They gonna keep it pushing. Something that I do admire and have a little respect for them in that regard. Sometimes they be doing a little bit too much, but for the most part, you know what I'm saying? They gonna say their piece and you gonna hear them out. You see, you put them in the military, they gonna tell you what they is and what they ain't gonna do. It's kind of the vibe that I'm getting at. But if they ever had to go to war, I think they would win. Y'all think I'm crazy. All right. I don't know if you know the reason why I believe